Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. I am so incredibly excited to be sharing this with you today. Look, I've been to Oktoberfest, I've checked out the world-famous Christmas markets, but let me tell you, absolutely nothing prepared me for the Kölner Carnival. It is, without a doubt, Germany's most insane festival, and I mean that in the absolute best, most affectionate way possible. If you're an expat living in Germany or an international visitor planning a trip and you want to experience something truly, wildly unforgettable, you are totally in the right place. I'm going to be your personal guide today, kind of like that friend who went last year and just literally cannot stop talking about it.
So let's dive right into this. What actually happens when an entire city of over 1 million people just decides to stop working and go completely crazy for a full week? Well, the city essentially shuts down. Businesses close early, schools go on holiday, and the streets are entirely taken over by people dressed as pirates, minions, politicians, and, neon unicorns. And honestly, the craziest part? Nobody even bats an eye. It's this massive, citywide celebration of epic proportions leading right up to Lent, and it is just packed with singing, dancing, street parties, and pure, unadulterated joy.
And this brilliantly illustrates the scale we're talking about here. Over 1 million visitors flood the streets of Cologne every single year for this massive celebration. To put that into perspective, that's like an entire major city's worth of people just pouring in. But despite those massive crowds, there is something remarkably friendly and inclusive about the Carnival atmosphere. It really doesn't matter if you're a local who has lived there for decades or a tourist who literally just got off the train. The drunk guy in the Super Mario suit trying to get you into his conga line is absolutely going to treat you like his new best friend.
Okay, so here's your ultimate insider's survival guide roadmap. First, we'll welcome you to the 5th season. Then, we'll look at the timeline of the crazy days, check out the Rose Monday parade, figure out how to embrace your inner Jack, run through some vital unwritten rules and survival tips, and finally, deal with the morning after. Welcome to the 5th season, centuries of history, madness, and tradition.
You see, the history of Carnival has roots tracing all the way back to ancient Roman festivals and the Latin phrase carnevale, which means goodbye to meat. Today, the locals don't just call this a festival, they seriously call it the 5th season. And the official kickoff is incredibly precise. I mean, down to the minute. It starts on November 11th at exactly 11:11 a.m. In local tradition, 11 is the Narrenzahl, or the number of the fool. It symbolizes madness and silliness because it sits awkwardly right between the holy number 10 and the perfect number 12. But while the season officially opens in November, the real, unhinged street madness, the part you're actually going to travel for, doesn't happen until February.
So, if you really want to fit in, understanding the local traditions is absolutely crucial. First up, you have the Dreigestern. This is the triumvirate of carnival royalty: a prince, a farmer, and a virgin. And fun fact, all 3 roles are traditionally played by men. They act as the official mascots of the whole festival. Then you have the music. You are going to hear traditional Kölsche songs sung in the local dialect absolutely everywhere you go. My top tip? Look up a playlist with songs like Viva Colonia before you arrive so you can actually sing along with everyone. And finally, this festival is deeply, deeply rooted in neighborhood pride. You'll find these local Wiedel or district parties happening on practically every corner of the city.
Section 2. Timeline of the crazy days, mapping out your week of beautiful chaos.
Okay, let's dive right into this itinerary. During these Tolle Tage, which literally means crazy days, the whole city just transforms. The street carnival officially erupts on Thursday, known as Weiberfastnacht, or Women's Carnival, at, you guessed it, exactly 11:11 a.m. The energy just constantly builds through the weekend. On Saturday night, you've got the Geisterzug, which is this really cool, alternative, slightly spooky ghost parade where anyone can jump in and march. Sunday is for the Schul- und Wiedelszug, smaller, way more family-friendly school and neighborhood parades. Then we hit Monday, Rosenmontag. This is the absolute, undisputed climax of the entire festival. And finally, on Ash Wednesday, the party officially ends and everyone begrudgingly goes back to reality.
Section 3. The Rose Monday Parade. The undisputed highlight of the festival.
Seriously, if you can only be in Cologne for one single day, this is the day you want to be there. It's the absolute epicenter of the madness, drawing over 1 million visitors into the city center alone. And to give you a sense of just how massive this parade is, the route is a staggering 8 kilometers long. It takes between 3.5 to 4 hours just to pass by you. It's totally packed with thousands of participants, brilliantly satirical floats that relentlessly poke fun at politicians, high-kicking dancers, and traditional marching bands. You definitely need to get there super early to claim a good viewing spot.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer volume of free stuff you are going to get. I'm not kidding. Throughout the parade, participants on the floats hurl over 300 tons of sweets directly into the cheering crowd. That includes roughly 700,000 bars of chocolate and around 300,000 bouquets of flowers.
But listen, you don't just stand there quietly expecting to get the goods. Oh no, you have to earn them. I'm going to teach you the two most crucial battle cries of the entire festival. You need to shout Kamel at the top of your lungs if you want them to throw you candy, and you shout Strischer if you want flowers. Catching these things is practically a competitive sport. Pro tip here, bring a big tote bag or do what the true local professionals do and hold an open umbrella upside down to catch maximum candy. It's genius.
Section 4. Embrace your inner Jack. If you aren't wearing a costume, you're doing it wrong. I literally cannot stress this enough. If you walk around Cologne in regular street clothes during Carnival, you will be the one who looks weird. You will stand out in the worst way possible. A person celebrating the Carnival is known locally as a Jack, which basically translates to a fool. And embracing your inner Jack is absolutely mandatory. You don't have to spend a fortune though. A simple pop nose, which is just a cardboard or plastic clown nose, is the bare minimum. But going all out with colorful, ridiculous, over-the-top outfits is highly encouraged. Just remember, it is February in Germany, so please make sure your costume is big enough to fit a thick winter coat underneath.
And guys, here is a very specific, very real warning for you. If you happen to be in Cologne on Weiberfastnacht, that's the opening Thursday, and you are wearing a necktie, it will get cut off. No exceptions. This is a super old tradition where women symbolically seize power for the day. Armed with actual scissors, local women roam the streets and just snip off men's ties. In exchange for your completely ruined tie, you'll usually get a Butzen, which is just a friendly, harmless carnival kiss on the cheek. So, whatever you do, leave your favorite designer silk tie at home.
Section 5. Unwritten rules and survival tips. How to party like a local and avoid total disaster.
Okay, to make sure you truly survive and thrive, we need to cover the insider rules, starting with the single most serious linguistic offense you could possibly commit. Pay very close attention here. The official carnival greeting is Kölner Karneval, which roughly means Cologne above all. You're going to hear this shouted thousands of times a day, and you should absolutely shout it back. But what you must never, ever say is hello. Hello is the greeting for Cologne's arch-rival city, Düsseldorf. If you shout hello in the middle of a Cologne pub, the music might literally scratch to a halt and you will face instant social exile. I'm serious. So remember, Kölner Karneval.
Next up, you need to understand the brilliantly dangerous local ritual of drinking Kölsch, the local beer. It's served in these tiny 0.2-liter glasses by a very specific type of waiter called a kubes, who carries them around in a special circular tray called a kranz. Now here is the trick. When your glass is empty, the kubes will automatically bring you a fresh one and just make a little pencil mark on your coaster. You don't even have to ask for it. The Kölsch will just keep flowing relentlessly until you physically place your cardboard coaster directly on top of your glass to signal your surrender.
All right, let's rapid fire this survival checklist so you're totally prepared. First, hotel prices surge, so book months in advance and rely on the local trams to get around. Literally, do not even try to drive. Second, respect the Glasverbot. There is a strict ban on glass bottles in the Old Town party zones, and getting caught comes with a really hefty fine. Third, pack a pocket rain poncho, because German weather is famously unpredictable. Fourth, bring tissues and hand sanitizer, because a million extra people means public restrooms get messy really fast. And finally, bring plenty of cash and maybe consider buying some cheap beers at a local street kiosk to save a few euros before heading into those crowded pubs.
Section 6. The morning after. Saying goodbye to the 5th season.
So, after days of non-stop partying, this kind of emotional hangover sets in, and locals prepare to say goodbye through a highly theatrical, slightly melancholic ritual called the Nubelverbrennung. Basically, throughout the festival, you'll see these life-size straw dolls, called the Nubel, hanging above local pubs, just quietly watching everyone's crazy antics. Well, on the night before Ash Wednesday, the Nubel is taken down, publicly accused of all the sins committed during the carnival. You know, drinking way too much, skipping work, whatever it might be. And then he is ceremonially burned right there in the street. He literally takes the blame for everyone's bad decisions. It's brilliant.
And with that, it's a moment of ritual cleansing.
The party is officially over, the sins are completely burned away, those wild costumes go back into the sticky dressers, and the city of Cologne takes a massive, collective deep breath and resets for the fasting period of Lent. Life goes completely back to normal, well, at least until the following November 11th, when the whole crazy cycle starts all over again.
Cologne Carnival is just one of those rare, spectacular experiences that feels genuinely unique. It's warm, it's insanely inclusive, it's completely chaotic, and it is absolutely unforgettable. So my final question to you is, have you booked your flight yet, or are you too scared to lose your favorite necktie? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope you feel totally ready to embrace your inner Jack. Kala alaf, everyone. See you out there.